we have been in negotiation with this faction of insurgents for quite a while. And one of the understandings was that while we negotiate towards total cessation of hostility, there will be no abductions. So for us, it was a moral issue. The government, led by its negotiators, reminded them of the agreement that there will be no abduction, that they've breached that agreement. And that's why there was no swap, there was no money paid. Any other story to the contrary is false. And what happened was that the insurgents said they were going to unconditionally return the girls themselves to rejoin their families. So when they came, they dropped one of the girls in Gaydam and dropped the rest in Dapchi. Now, when they dropped them in Dapchi, many of the girls went to their parents' houses. So it took this morning to call them together and get an accurate number of how many of them have been returned.
So we're focusing on this morning. We've got a guest here with us in the studio to look into those scenarios. Mr. Joe Igbokwe is the spokesperson of All Progressive Congress in Lagos. Thank you for coming on this morning. Good morning. We also have Mr. Akin Osuntokun, who is a member of the PDP and former MD of NAN and a former political advisor to former President Obasanjo. Thank you for coming on this morning.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, we just have heard the narrative about what transpired, even though, yes, we see the dailies reports different angles and different perspectives. But let me start on you, Mr. Osuntokun. Do you think that, first of all of these comments, response we've seen in the dailies, does it take away from the fact that, first of all, it's glad and good to see that the children are back?
Of course, you said it. It doesn't take anything away from that, of course. I mean, the most important aspect of it is human, the human aspect. Each one of them, you know, has parents, siblings, you know, friends, and at the end of the day, regardless of our inclinations, partisan, religious, we are members of the Nigerian community. So we share a common identity, both national, both communal, and of course as human, we can see that it generated interest far beyond Nigeria. I mean, we were in the days of globalization. So it's not only in Nigeria that the news is received with empathy. You know, it's also global. So, I mean, to that extent, it's good news for all concerned parties at the local government level, state government level, national, international. So,
okay. Let me just talk about your designation. Yes, you're a former presidential advisor on politics, but being the director of public communications of the Coalition of Nigeria, does that still mean you're still a member of the PDP?
Nominally, yes, because I've not withdrawn my membership, but effectively, I've left. I mean, well, I've not formalized it.
So, do you see anything wrong with the release of the girls?
Anything wrong?
Yeah.
I don't understand that question.
In terms of how the girls were released, the circumstances surrounded it, do you see anything wrong with that?
Well, you know, there are some curious aspects of it, you know. But, you know, we are dealing with an abnormal situation, so we don't even know what is the normal template to go on. But it is curious that, you know, convoys of cars, you know, would drive all the way to Dapchi, you know, and these are known terror. I mean, look, if they want to release the girls, first, unless they are living in the neighborhood of Dapchi, it doesn't make sense to me that those who want to return them will drive all the way to Dapchi to return them. So that's a curious aspect. It will be sufficient if, for instance, they were in Sambisa forest, you know, drive them to the nearest public, you know, place and leave them there. That's what that is. So it begins to look, you know, awkward from there. And then you see the thing, the convoy, they came in a convoy of cars, almost celebratory, you know, as if they were going to a rally or something like that. And then you see the guys, you know, carrying baggages, bags and things like that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, one can only speculate, but it's an observation that has been made even by international agencies. I mean, I first even heard about release on CNN, and the way they were describing it was the casual. They themselves said it was some. There was an element of something surreal. I mean, it doesn't look, you know. I mean, there are things you see that it doesn't make a lot of sense.
All right, Mr. Igbokwe, having seen, yes, everybody is glad that the girls are back, they've been released, but in terms of the circumstances and how the narrative out there, I mean, you're also a columnist, so you write and you do see some of these things. Do you think, or do you agree with those who think, wait a minute, there seems to be more to this release than meets the eye?